What's up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, how you all doing? Cosmic Harry here, rolling out in my brand new tier 10. Yes, I know. The MAUS, the mighty MAUS, the tier 10 mighty MAUS. Never has there been a tank in the game, a tier 10 tank that has surprised me so much. 100%, 100%, straight out the ballpark, whatever you want to call it, say it. 100% surprised me. I couldn't believe how much I loved rolling out in this tank, playing in this tank. My first couple of games, my first few games, because I was not expecting much. I was expecting a big, dumb, stupid machine that was just a novelty tank, a novelty item that was put in the game, not as a joke, but just just for fun, just for shits and giggles, nothing more, nothing less. Well, when was the last time you ever saw a MAUS top of the leaderboard at the end of the game? For the most part, 2-3 minutes into the game, pardon me, poof, there goes the MAUS. Somebody took out the MAUS. The MAUS is dead. I'm gonna go where the MAUS is going, or because he's gonna. Granted, he's a decent meat shield for yourself, etc., etc. But for the most part, I was just not expecting nothing. A, because it's the MAUS, and B, because I was not impressed by this tank line. The Tiger P is pretty decent. VKA, this is stupid. This is ridiculous. This tank is just. It looks ridiculous. It is ridiculous, VKB, I heard so many great things about that tank. So many fantastic, great things about that tank. And me personally, I couldn't stand it, And the fact that it was the tier 9, and a lot of times when you move up to the tier 9, sometimes it's a tier 8, but tier 8, tier 9, you finally you're grinding the line, and finally you're seeing the benefits of grinding that line, and finally you're seeing light on the horizon. Oh, this is why I've been grinding this line. You're seeing the characteristics of the tier 10 in that tier 8 and the tier 9. And I just couldn't see it, and I really couldn't see it. I'm 100%, a lot of people out there with the VK45B, a lot of people out there absolutely love that tank, 100%. And I'm not taking anything away from that tank, but me personally, I don't know what it was, but I hated it. I couldn't stand it, and I was trying to play it as much as possible, trying to get those daily multipliers and using my ops just for the bonus XP multipliers, so I could make that grind as short as possible, because it was just driving me absolutely up the wall, 100%, and I just hated it. I 100% hated it, and I think it was 100k XP into the thing, and I finally gave up. And I think at 1.1 win rate in that thing was about 32%, and then there was the whole dilemma. I don't want to leave this tank. So many times I wanted to rage sell it. I didn't want to leave a tank at 32%, and I said, okay, well, get it back up to at least 40 or something like that, something decent, before you use your free XP to move up to the MAUS. And so, having experienced all these tanks that just did not agree with me, and usually I enjoy a tier 8, a tier 9 grind. Like I said, I'm thinking of the Conqueror, boof, I knocked that out of the park kind of thing, no problemo. And the E75, my first ever line, I loved playing in the E75, and M103, so many fantastic tier 9 heavies, period. And so I wasn't expecting much. I was expecting something ever so slightly better than the VK45B. I was expecting, even though it's the MAUS, it's completely different, 100%. I just wasn't expecting much. Oh my god, I love this tank. This is such a fantastic, beautiful machine, and I absolutely I love this tank. It's been such a long time since I've unlocked a tier 10, and my eyes kind of lit up. Wow, this is a beast of a machine, 100%. And yeah, absolutely, it's dumb, it's stupid, it's this, it's that, but at the same time, it's kind of smart, because this tank is 100%, a flank destroyer. You go down the flank and you annihilate your opponents by just going through, pushing through. It's a flank defender, you just angle it just so, and just nothing can get past you. Look at this, they're so unlucky with the E50M. He just turns in the last second. And it's a flank defender. You just hold your ground, you angle. It's a teammate defender. You pull your tank in front of another compadre because he's got that fantastic gun with that fantastic penetration, and you need to keep that, your compadre in the game. But it's 100% a support tank. This is such an odd game. This game here was like my third or fourth game in the tank, and I didn't know. I said, I know I can be doing great things, and I was doing really decent things in this tank, but I knew it had the potential to do so much more, and I could have done this, and I could have done that, and it's like you really are learning how to utilize this tank to the best of its abilities, because it's got tons of great abilities. Like I said, most of them, armor, and there's so many, and it's very 100% situational. But you can create the situations. You can 100% watch me ramming the SD1. I could have shot him, but I thought, no, he should be dying, buddy. I kept on ramming him repeatedly. I should have just shot him, but it cannot go anywhere without support. Anywhere without support. And I fully realized that. I fully understood that from the get-go. I cannot go anywhere without support because I'm such a huge target, and my turret traverse is just awful. And I can angle as much as I want, but when there's one in front of you, one to the left, one to the right, you can only angle so much. And the lower plate is, I knew that from the get-go, trying to pen these things. It's pretty tough to pen, not because it's weak or something like that, but because it's so narrow. The E100, it's kind of wide, but with the MAUS, it's much more narrow kind of thing, and it's pretty tough. Look, this is so interesting. The artist says, you know what, I'm sick of trying to hit you the conventional way. I'm gonna come down and shoot you point blank. Okie dokie. But 100% a beautiful machine. 100% a beautiful machine. I genuinely am surprised. I'm going to be quiet now. Or I'm not going to be quiet. We're going to talk about the gameplay. Okay, so we are on Siegfried line, and we are defending on assault. Now this is kind of important. I think it's much easier in this tank to defend than if I was attacking. So I do have that in as an advantage, because it's a bunker of a tank, and a bunker is much easier to defend than to attack, if you know what I mean. I forgot to mention this tank. Most of you know it carries the E75 gun, so I'm a veteran with the E75. It's got some tweaks, I think, when it comes to accuracy and aim time, and it's really decent, like the dispersion, like on the move, the bloom of the aiming reticule. So as I'm pushing forward, all I'm thinking about is, support here. I don't want to be pushing up too far because we're defending. I'm thinking about the long haul, the longevity of the game. I want to last till the end of the game. You know, my team needs me. They need my armor. They need my hit points. They don't necessarily need my gun. They need me as a distraction. They need me as a bouncing machine. They need me for all these reasons, not necessarily to inflict damage. That's kind of further down on the list, and this is all coming from a E100 mentality when it comes to driving the mouse. I just took what I learned from using the E100 and I'm using it in the mouse. That's why I think I kind of straight away clicked with this tank, is because yep, I've driven the E100. I know what to do. I know how to use this 100%. And at the same time, Artie's safe. Even though Artie just got wiped out, which is a fantastic bonus. But we're in town here, so there's no danger or anything like that, even if Artie was in play. But you can see how I'm positioning myself. I'm keeping an eye on the reds. As I pull back, you can see me kind of twist the turret, angle it straight away, instantly. I know what to do. I know E100 mentality. And but as I'm pushing up, I've got greens in front of me. I need that support. And I'm aware that there's kind of like a couple of greens behind me. And I thought like this is like a perfect deployment of my tank. I'm in the middle of a bunch of greens. They're not necessarily protecting me. They're just, I'm not leaving myself weak or vulnerable to enemy fire in case, just in case I get caught out, etc., etc. But at the same time, you got to take a risk. You got to, poke out, take a shot. And I know I'm perfectly angled here. I know lower plate, possibly, maybe. But VK215B, I know he can easily, pen my turret cheeks. But the way he's positioned, the way I'm positioned, T32, no way, buddy. Ain't gonna happen. Nothing's gonna happen. And he's playing his tank very, very poorly. Get one into his side. And they're just, all I'm getting is repeated shots into my track, and that's about it. Apart from that, it's bouncing. They're tracking me here and there, and but I'm strong here. I'm 100% strong. I'm keeping this street, this whatever you want to call it, on lockdown. Can I hit that? No, not really. Just I took a shot. Your reload is pretty decent. Penetration accuracy, nothing fantastic. I just thought, I just give it a shot. Maybe something will happen. Pen again. Of course, he's tier 8. He's picking a fight with me that he's just not going to win. With support from his friends, absolutely 100%. But the way I'm positioned, where I am at this precise moment, nothing's going to touch me 100%. You want to poke out? No problema. Fully aware of my, the sides of my turret. How easily they can be penned. Not easy, but the tallness of the tank does come into play. E100 coming up. Okay, so that's another tier 10. It's not a T32, so I'm just waiting. There's nothing there. His top bar would only be would be my only option. There, but my accuracy is just not going to make it. Weak spot doesn't work out. Bounces. E100's ducking behind cover. Should we try again? Oh, there we go. Yeah, I think that was into the tracking wheel. Finally, somebody pens me. 100. Finally, somebody pens me. Shot my gun like 10 times. Again, weak spot. Got it. No problemo. Good to go. Also, I've been penned once. You know, you was using that rock, and now we're mopping up. Hit points galore. Who wants them? You want some? Go for it. You know, there's nothing that can touch me. It's pretty nice rolling out in a tank that needs to be penned twice by a Death Star in order to die. You know, the Death Stars cannot one-shot me. Even though that's the case with the E100, but when if the Death Star pens you once, you're severely crippled in E100. With this, you're still a major player. You know, ramming, fantastic. Love the thing. Love the fact that you can ram with this tank and cause severe damage on your opponent. You know, easily 100, 200, etc., etc. But this was kind of the ending here was, I don't know. It was, I don't know, poetry. I haven't got a clue. Not poetry, emotion. It wasn't sublime. It wasn't. Yeah, it's just. Yeah, it was kind of like deserving. I don't know. It was what it. I haven't got a clue. There you go. Very cool. Very cool. You cannot snipe in this tank. Oh, I just did. Anyhow, fantastic, beautiful machine. As you can see, picking up 95% mastery. Very decent. 4k damage, 5.4k blocked. Very nice. Very nice. Very happy with this game. I think this was like 5-10 games in. Take it easy, guys. Love this thing. Absolutely. So surprised. Take it easy. Adios, muchachos.